So when a new patient comes into my office in 2021 and they go through my day one, they go through my day two, they go into the better results faster, guess what I'm going to tell them? Guess what slide I'm going to put up? There's going to be a slide in my workshop that's going to say this: who's the one in 2021?
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
Hey, Remarkables. I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Super excited to be joining you guys here today to share an incredibly important message around marketing in 2021. Marketing in a post-COVID world. Dr. Pete, you know what? We all feel the same. We are wandering into the wilderness in 2021. I think God's got a great sense of humor and we've got an exciting year ahead, I bet. Last time we were together, we talked about the importance of having a plan when you're going into the wilderness, right? So many docs are a bit hesitant on setting goals and setting the plan that's going to help them predictably achieve those goals in 2021. And as we said on our last episode, the worst plan is showing up without a plan. So today we're going to continue the idea, the conversation around having a plan, having ambitious goals, and making sure that everyone on your team is fully aware of that plan. They bought into that plan and those goals, and that they know their role specifically in helping your business achieve your goals in 2021.
Yeah, it's about being the CEO is about leverage, right? That's one of the biggest takeaways that I know so many of you have had, listening to this podcast, and so many of the CEOs that we get to work with who are clients, is that the transition, the two-part transition is, number one, I go from the identity shift of the owner operator to the identity of being the CEO. And then the second is the shift from the turning my job and turning it into an actual business. And what does that actually look like? And one of the key terms that we've all identified is that we're identifying is leverage. Leverage is the difference. And what you do, for example, this podcast is a great example of a leverage. So what you're doing is you're taking a podcast, a educational tool that can work as an educator. It's inspirational. It gives you some direction. It kind of keeps the conversation about being a CEO at the top of your mind. That's leveraging. You're leveraging technology. So what else? What do you do? What are you doing for your patients? What are you doing in your office right now that keeps you top of mind, that keeps the message that you are teaching front of mind, that keeps you in that place where you're constantly on their mind, that they're remembering they need to make it in for their adjustments? That's one. Number two, they need to be living the healthy lifestyle, breaking their bad habits at home. That's number two. Number three, they need to be doing their supportive exercises so that they're getting the most bang for their buck when it comes to the investment of taking care of their spine and nervous system. For example, right? We teach that, what we call the three-legged stool. So that is a framework that provides honestly a way for people to get healthy, stay healthy. And so what is it that you're doing this year inside of your office? What are the things that you can do this year to drive your business forward, to grow? And we want to keep it really, really simple. We're going to clean it up. Dr. Stephen, you and I probably have tried, probably hundreds of different tactics and strategies to educate, equip, and empower our patients, to drive the internal machine. And we could probably tell war stories just this whole podcast episode. And maybe some things will pop up here and there as they do from time to time. However, we really want to get tactical today. We want to get really specific on ways that you can specifically market right now internally inside of your office. And I want to also give a very specific shout out to our team here in the Remarkable Practice and the amazing work that they've done, adding value and resources to our tribe, who's a part of our family in our forum. They're doing just an amazing job adding value about marketing there. So I just want to thank Melissa and the rest of the team for the amazing work that they've done because again, I'm seeing and giving feedback coming from our clients like, wow, this has been really helpful. New ways, improved ways to be able to reach and market to our current patients during this time. So Dr. Stephen, this is such a critical subject. My goal always was I wanted to only have internal new patients coming into my office. I didn't want to have to ever do anything else. It should all be internal, because once you get the big idea, how can you not tell everyone that you know?
Yep.
But we have to have a plan for that. There has to be a strategy. There has to be a system. So we're going to dig into that now.
Yeah. So, if, 2020 taught us anything, it was that you need to be agile. You need to recognize that, hey, I'm usually reliant on the ability to go out into my community and do outside talks, dinner talks, and corporate wellness, spinal screens, and this sort of thing, as a complement to my internal marketing efforts, my digital marketing efforts, et cetera. So as much as so much of that was taken off the table in 2020, the blessing is that many of you developed new muscles in digital marketing, right? And hopefully many of you dusted off some of the old muscles of internal marketing that you might have started to take for granted, or maybe got soft around, right? So, what's old is new, what's old school is new school, and it's definitely working. And so many of our clients have just brought back some of the oldies but goodies, and we can certainly focus and talk about several of those things here today. But today I really want to drill down. I want to focus on the internal marketing aspects and really just start from a conceptual place. Because it can feel overwhelming, right? As chiropractors, it can feel overwhelming. You're like, okay, so here's the deal. We've got this product that is a product for everyone, and everyone needs our product, right? So it's like, so everyone is our potential customer. So we need to be promoting every way to everyone, right? So here's the truth: is when you're promoting more than one thing, you've promoted nothing, right? So you've got to be able to narrow your focus. You've got to get really clear as exactly who you're speaking to. And if you try to promote to everyone, you'll promote to no one, right? So just recognize that this year, 2021, this is your opportunity to step into that space and say, in 2021, who is the one? Who is the one? I want you to be zooming in with every single new patient, every single patient in your practice. Every single patient at any given point in time has some one person in their life who is, number one, aware that they're looking for a better place, a better place for better health, or a better way to better health. They are available right now to learn, and they're actively looking, pursuing help with the problem, right? So you've got to be thinking to yourself, when you look at every patient, when you're promoting to them, who do you know? Don't think just generally all over the place. Who is the one? And that's going to be the focus in 2021. Who is the one in 2021?
So I can't emphasize enough the importance of what you're just saying, Dr. Stephen, and how simple it is. You might have missed it. What you just laid out and what you're saying here is actually could be the entire framework for your whole marketing strategy for the rest of this year internally. And the ROI on this, if you really drill down into this, is going to be exponential. Because the reality is you asked 3 questions, and I want to make sure that these are not missed, because these are going to happen like this. They're going to happen during a progress evaluation, progress exam. They're going to happen table talk. They're going to happen at the front desk when somebody's checking in or checking out. They're going to happen while somebody's in the jump seats or hot seats. It's going to happen where you're going to have a window of opportunity. May happen at your Better Results Faster workshop. You're going to have a small window of opportunity, and you don't want to miss the window of opportunity, because when it comes to the one, usually there's a something you'll hear, something that you'll sense and feel, or just a window of opportunity for you to simply ask. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest subluxations and stumbling blocks for why we don't have more people being referred into our office, you know what it is? We're not asking. We're simply not asking. There's limiting beliefs that we have in our own mind. We actually, in our own mind, sabotage our ability to have the people who are currently actively in our office to bring and share and refer people in, because we simply do not ask. And so what Dr. Stephen, you just said was, this is our declaration, our framework. This is our mission. So when a new patient comes into my office in 2021 and they go through my day one, they go through my day two, they go into the better results faster. Guess what I'm going to tell them? Guess what slide I'm going to put up? There's going to be a slide in my workshop that's going to say this: who's the one in 2021? It's going to be on my slide deck. I'm getting tactical with you right away. I'm going to put a slide in the PowerPoint in my Better Results Faster workshop that literally says, who is the one? And then I'm going to explain about our 2021 local, and if we're part of TRP, global initiative. That we are part of a global initiative of helping one more. That we are on a mission in 2021 to help the one. What we've learned coming out of 2020 was that the people that were at highest risk, the people that were most vulnerable for the corona situation, were people who had preventable diseases, the people who have lifestyle related conditions. And so what we learned from there is that we can help people. We can help save lives. All of you can be frontline workers. All of us in this community can be frontline and helping save lives by simply being a part of this mission of helping the one. So you asked 3 questions, Dr. Stephen, that I want to make sure that the doctors that are hearing this can share with their team so that they're asking these questions in the office. And again, within the context of the framework of who's the one. And I mean, I'm already in my mind, I'm building a billboard in my office. I've got flyers in the office. I've got artwork going up in the office, being created and designed and branded all over the office that says, who's the one in 2021? And all I'm going to talk about all year long to every person all year is who's the one in 2021.
Pete,
and people
dynamic.
get so tired of it.
Okay, let's take a quick break and talk about Chiro Match Makers.
Chiro Match Makers will help you find the right person for the job. If you're looking to hire the ideal chiropractic assistant, Chiro Match Makers will help you find the specific person missing from your team so that you can get back to using your talents to serve more people. Or if you're looking to hire the ideal associate doctor, CMM can help. Chiro Match Makers helps chiropractors like you find the ideal associate doctor to unlock your practice potential and get you the freedom that you desire. To learn more, go to chiromatchmakers.com.
And now let's jump right back into our conversation.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
When it comes to your marketing, listen, the truth is, as a chiropractor, you're either just warming the surface, by spraying the sunbeams of energy all over the place. You're just warming the surface of your practice. And it feels good and it feels nice. And I love what Patch and Tempo says, it's a jacuzzi experience. Marketing is not a jacuzzi experience when you're in the business of saving lives, right? So it's not just about warming surfaces, it's about starting fires, right? So it's laser beam specific. You have to pick the spot where you're going to start fire, and you have to be intentional about it. So when you're delivering your content, for example, like this is one reason I love the Body Signals program. The Body Signals program forces this function. It makes this conversation a layup. So, for example, if you're doing a Body Signals theme of the month is sleep, right? And you want to talk about sleep and sleep issues. And here we are in this post-COVID world where everybody's focused on their immune system and they don't want to be immunocompromised. And you bring these two things together and say, listen, at the end of the day, somebody who has sleep issues, if you're not sleeping enough, you absolutely become immunocompromised, right? So how can you not have that conversation? And to be able to say, hey, Pete, who in your life is struggling with their sleep right now? There's lots of reasons why people struggle with, so it's emotional stress, is they're having a hard time with their relationships at work, or this COVID crisis, or the political climate. Who do you know that's struggling with their sleep? We change the time, when we go through daylight savings, it's this time of year people struggle with their sleep. Who do you know that struggles with their sleep? And you know who they are because they complain about it to you all the time. They sound like this. God, I'm so exhausted. Man, I had a terrible night's sleep. I've been so restless. Who is it, Pete? Who's the one in your life right now that's immunocompromised because they're struggling with their sleep? I mean, guys, see what I'm doing there? It's just like I am literally asking a series of questions that helps a very busy person, just like you and I, who are busy and overwhelmed, and we're overscheduled and we're overoccupied and we have too much data input, and we're making a person take pause, get focused, and think of a human being that they care about. And you're like, yeah, actually, you know who it is? My father-in-law. You just described my father-in-law. It's like, that's the person that needs to get checked. How can we help him? What do you want to bring him to the workshop, bring him to my webinar, do you bring him to get checked, right? So it's who's the one gets you there really quickly. So you want to be really specific. If you're doing a webinar, or you're doing your workshop, or you're closing out a report of findings, whatever it is, when you're speaking, be really intentional and drill down the way I just showed you how to drill down. Who is the one? Who is that person? Who are you thinking of right now? Right? So make them stop and put a face to the name, right? And know that is the one. That's the person that I'm going to send in. This is the person that I can help be an inflection point in their health trajectory by turning them on to your office, to chiropractic care.
This is so powerful. So what I'm literally seeing in my mind as you're discussing this is, I saw a calendar of 12 months. I saw a big broad title at the top that says, who's the one? I see 12 different themes over the 12 months, and a very specific, let's call it condition maybe, across that. And then within the context of that, you have all these talking points, and then you have one foundational question to ask repeatedly over and over and over, which is, who's the one? And think about how simple that is. And who's the one is across the top. It's who's the one that you know with sleep conditions. Who's the one that you know with weight issues. Who's the one that you know that's struggling with their diet, with their blood sugar, diabetes. Who's the one that you know with heart issues. Who's the one that you know with back issues. Who's the one that you know. And you can literally go down the top 12 conditions that, we already know that, it's a layup, like you said. We can teach it in our sleep. People come in, they're going to hear about it from an expert. And it's so logical for them to take the next step to get their spine and nervous systems checked by an expert. It just makes so much sense. Or even if you went straight to chiropractic, who's the one, at your Better Results Faster workshop that needs to come in, needs to have their spine nervous systems checked. Let's just start with the one in your family, your spouse, your significant other, your partner. Let's talk about your children. Let's start with those ones. Those are good ones to start with. Right. And so the conversation of the one, and there's 3 questions that we want to ask. Question number 1 is, who right now in your life is actively looking for help? And just stop there. Don't move forward. Okay. So if you're asking me and I'm at the table and we're doing table talk and I'm getting up from the adjustment and and I'm on a mission because I'm the chiropractor in the business of saving lives. And I know that I only have, and I'm looking for the one from you. I'm going to, who's the one? I'm going to ask you one question. Who is one person in your life right now that's actively looking for help with their health? And then do this. And wait for a response. And if the response is, I don't know, then we need to dig a little bit in there, because there are people in their lives that are absolutely looking for help. And so I would press in there. Right. So, but that's a different conversation. The second question is, so they're actively looking for help. And the second question is, who is willing to listen? Because I found, Dr. Stephen, and you know this, that so many people say, I don't really know anybody. What they're saying is, I don't really know anybody who's going to come in here and sign up for a care plan for a year.
That's exactly right.
That's what they're saying. They're saying, I just don't know anybody who's going to be willing to go through whatever I'm going through right now.
Yeah, there's pre-screening, potential people coming into the practice.
So they're doing that for you. So you have to be aware enough to know that when they say that,
who's ready?
You got to be able to have that discussion with them, right?
Ready.
And your team has to be prepared and equipped to be able to handle that, what we might call a limiting belief, that pre-screening situation with the patients, and just say, hey. And you always want to have a story in your back pocket about that, because, there's always somebody who finally gets referred in and they yell at their buddy because it's like, dude, you knew about this for these past 6 months. I've been struggling with this. Why didn't you tell me sooner? And so don't try to be the person to make the decisions for your friend or your neighbor or your loved one. Let them decide. Your job is just to bring them to the water. They get to decide if they're going to drink, but don't decide whether they should be or shouldn't be based on your beliefs, right? So the second question is, are they available to listen? And then the third question is, who do you know that's actively looking for help? These are 3 very, very profound questions, and each one of them has layers underneath them. And these are going to help you. These are going to help your team in your office as you're promoting events, as you're promoting, different initiatives that you have, campaigns, things that are going on in the office, as you're executing your systematic approach to internal new patients. Remember, you have campaign driven, system driven, and then you have organic, right? But these are the campaigns and the system or process driven ones. They're coming as part of a system and a process, and often a conversation.
Yeah.
And so that's why these questions are so important. So, Dr. Steven, I know that this is really, we're hitting it. We're getting more tactical, very granular, but this is such an important thing that as a CEO, that I and my whole team, that everyone's equipped, everyone is prepared, and can to execute when it comes to this discussion.
Yeah. And when we say actively, that means now. Like, right. So it's, you're talking to me, it's relevant to me, right? It's what I need. I recognize that I need it, and I need it now. That's when those three spheres overlap, that person will take action, right? So to be able to master the communication of, listen, Pete, someone in your life right now is struggling with sleep and it's affecting their immune system. Who is it? That's how you ask it. It's just like Zoom. It's like, and if they can't answer, I'm like, you might have missed it. You got to pay attention, man. There's people all around you that are sick and suffering. Do you agree? You got to pay attention this week. And I'm going to ask you again next week, who is it? Right? Like, just stay right in their kitchen with them. Right. And it's all purpose driven. That's the power of the Body Signals program. Frankly, to be honest with you, the patients expected it. They knew it was coming month after month, week after week. There was going to be a body signal of the month. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And this is who we're outreach. This is who we're reaching out to. This is what we're focused on this month. Who do you know? Who's the one? Right. So it was 10,000 new patients, $25 million over a 15-year period, $25 million, guys, of leveraging this strategy that we're talking about right now. Who is the one? When you can focus and you get a person to put a face to the name, and be able to say, this is the person that needs it. You're talking about this person right now. It's relevance, guys. The dragon we have to slay as chiropractors is obscurity. So when you're just talking about something that's nebulous, that everyone needs, listen, that doesn't land. It warms the surfaces. You have to get specific. You have to get focused, and you have got to ask a question that provokes a response from your patient, right? So they think of it as like, actually, that is the person, that is the one. All right, so that's going to be the focus, guys, as we move forward in 2021 when we talk about internal marketing. Is the plan as we move forward is going to be, we're going to get very specific, very focused on asking the question of who is the one. And the one, obviously, that question comes at the end of a story or a framework that you've set up, whether it's a theme of the month or a condition of the month or a body signal of the month or whatever you were talking about. It's like, who do you know? Who is that person? Who is the one? Because we're not here to warm surfaces this year. We're not here to warm surfaces. We're here to start fires. In 2021, we're going to need to be very practical and tactical to see those internal new patients produce. I'll tell you what, our clients have been doing this. Our coaching clients have been doing this. Our doctors have been doing this. They've seen great fruit from this. This is a proven model. It wasn't just a great idea or something that we did in our practice over a 20-year period. It wasn't just productive for us. It's now productive for thousands of chiropractors around the world. And this will absolutely be the methodology in 2021. Look, there's a lot going on in the environment. There's a lot of distractions, right? So there's a lot of chaos and lack of certainty. You want to show up with clarity, right? So if you can be the person that says, we are the bridge, we are the way, this is the path, right? And this is the path for you and for your family, for your friends, for your loved one, for that person who you know, that one who needs to get checked right now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.